Hi, Roni here, and I am finally back with Ask Roni video podcasts, and I am joined this week by a very happy kicking baby. Here's Mr. Evan. Hey, Bubba. You want to say hi to everyone? He will be the reason why I took a short hiatus from my podcast. I hope you understand. For those of you not watching the video, I'm sure you can hear his little coos. Yeah, he's yawning. So I am going to attempt to do this podcast with him by my side. I'm pretty used to juggling the baby as I try to accomplish my own things. It works for me. I get to spend time with him, but also, you know, have my own outlet, so it kind of works. Plus, he's shooting me smiles from the side. It's hysterical. But he's going to probably pass out in about 5 minutes anyway, and I have him in the bouncer down here. I know you can't, well, I can't show you. Let's see. There he is. See him? He's down there in the bouncer. That still has the fit blogging sticker on it, which is hysterical. All right, so you'll have to excuse my nursing top. It's been like 90 degrees and 100% humidity around these parts. So I'm happy that I'm getting a little bit more comfortable in my skin, so I can wear tank tops, even though it's still a little hard for me, but I still do it. I'm kind of callous to my arm consciousness anymore. Anyway, so I have tons of questions. Please bear with me. I actually was making a lot of headway before I had the baby, and now my archives of Ask Roni questions are all mixed up, and I'm in the process of reorganizing behind the scenes a little bit. So these questions that I'm going to get to today are actually fairly recent questions. Next week, I hope to do a mix of old and new again, so that way I make sure that everyone who's reached out, I do respond to, and please accept my apologies for the late response on a lot of them. So I'm going to start with a really relevant question this week, and this one is from Jody. He's shooting me smiles. He's really smiling now. I'm sorry. I'm like baby distracted. So the first question is from Jody. Jody says, "Hi, Roni. Do you have a goal weight for Weight Watchers this time? Is it different from the last time because you are a new mom and will be breastfeeding for a while? What was your goal weight the first time you did Weight Watchers? How tall are you? I'm just curious and thought I'd ask." Okay. So this is all really personal questions towards me. I am almost 5'9". I don't know. I think I'm shrinking in my old age. So I'm between 5'8" and 5'9". So I usually use 5'8" anymore. But that's how tall I am. My original Weight Watchers goal was 149, and that's actually my my goal this time around too. I don't see why it would be any different. It's like a smack dab in the middle of the weight range for my height. I am 15 pounds away from that, and I actually had weigh-in today, and I stayed the same, and I'm owning that scale victory. Actually, I'm wearing shorts that I couldn't fit into since last summer, so I'm taking that non-scale victory, and the fact that this was a holiday weekend, and I totally picked out this weekend, the fact that the scale stayed the same, huge bonus, and I'm not letting it get me down. Anyway, so I'm sorry, back to your questions. I'm just babbling today. So 149 is my goal weight. It's really, in my mind, it's no different than last time. I am actually quite a few years older than the first time I did Weight Watchers, and I'm trying to keep that into consideration. Breastfeeding and Weight Watchers for me goes hand in hand. It did the first time. I know a lot of people don't agree with trying to lose weight while you're nursing. I never had a problem with milk supply. The first time, I actually averaged close to almost 3 pounds of a loss the first time around when I was pregnant or when I was nursing my firstborn, and I never had a problem with milk supply. And in my opinion, if the baby's growing and you're not having issues nursing, I don't see a problem with it. Again, not a dietitian or a doctor or whatever else I need to give you guys any advice. I'm just sharing my own personal opinions. So wait, your other question. So I don't see it any different. I do plan on nursing for at least 4 more months. My goal with breastfeeding is 6 months. And then by that time, he's starting solids, and I kind of try to wean off and just keep a supply of breast milk in the freezer to kind of trickle him down and move to solids. By the way, he's passing out. So that's kind of my... I'm sorry, I'm all over the place, but that's my story. I'm not putting a lot of pressure on myself to lose the weight in any predetermined amount of time, and I did the same thing the first time around. I'm taking it day by day, weigh in by weigh in. I keep everything fresh. I try to motivate myself by challenging myself. This time is a little bit different because I'm trying to get back into a workout routine. When I lost weight the first time on Weight Watchers, I was not a fan of working out. I didn't run. I didn't lift weights. I didn't go to the gym. I just walked. This time I'm trying to restart my running habit, and I ran last night. I actually ran twice this week already. So that's more, in my mind, the weight loss and the fitness are like two separate things. And I don't know if that's normal or good to think about it that way, but I don't intertwine the two, and I think it actually benefits me because for me, weight loss has always been an issue of eating too much and eating unconsciously and mindlessly munching and just being a little bit obsessive on the food side. And my love of fitness came out not because I wanted to lose weight, but because it kind of naturally and organically happened after I lost weight, where I started to do more things and then just go hiking, and then I started going to the gym and started taking step classes, and this love of fitness and how much I started to feel better about myself and my own body image because I was working out. It was kind of this whole snowball thing. So in my mind, the fitness thing is kind of separate from the weight loss thing. But anyway, again, I'm just babbling. So Jody, just to answer your questions again, I'm about 5'8", and my goal is 149. The lowest weight I ever was 135, which is way too low, I think, actually. It's the bottom of my weight scale. I would be very happy if I can maintain somewhere in the 140s. That, to me, again, I'm not putting pressure on myself, and I'm not really focusing on the numbers. Right now, I'm 161, which is really funny because it was the weight I was in high school when I thought I was so fat. Which did start my entire history of yo-yo dieting, was because I was unhappy in the body that I'm in now. And now I'm actually kind of happy in the body I'm in now. So it's a lot of perspective and finding kind of self-love and those kinds of things. But I hope that gives you a little insight into what my goals are right now and how tall I am, which I did add my height to my weight progress page because that seems to be a very common question. Okay, next question. I'm moving on. Babbling. I'm sure you didn't miss my babble. Next question is also from Jody. She must have given me 2 questions. I didn't even catch that until now. But here's Jody's second question. Hi, Roni. I know you're busy these days, but I wanted to ask how you stay motivated to eat healthy when your husband is not a big fan of eating healthy. I have 2 boys, and I find it hard to stay on track because they and my husband would prefer fast food or other not-so-healthy choices, and it's hard. Any thoughts or suggestions? Yes, I have tons of thoughts and suggestions because I am in your exact situation. And yeah, my husband is a junk food junkie, and he wants to eat out every day, and we battle this, but we battle it in a fun way. He is really overall supportive of me and what my goals are, but it is a struggle, and it's kind of hard to explain our situation. I don't mind eating out because I am the sole cook and bottle washer in the kitchen. Like, I am the only employee of our kitchen. No one else ever cooks me a meal. I'm kind of used to it now. I don't really mind it. I'm actually kind of happy that I get to kind of control the at-home food the majority of the time. But the flip side is we eat out probably way more often than we should, and it kind of hurts our bank account and our waistlines. But I have learned, and this is really my only piece of advice, is you have to learn how to navigate it. You have to learn how to compromise, maybe pick places in which it's easier for you to find healthier choices. You know, if you're on Weight Watchers, you go to Applebee's because they have points, or like for us, we have a lot of go-to places, and I have go-to meals, which helps me immensely. So our biggest splurge right now is the Japanese steakhouse. Both the husband and the child and our friends love the Japanese steakhouse. And I don't know if you've ever been, one of those like hibachi styles where they cook in front of you. You get a lot of food. I mean, you get enough literally for 3 to 4 meals on one plate. And I know myself. I have a really hard time not eating what's in front of me. So as they're cooking the meal and they're piling on the rice and they're piling on the noodles, and they're piling on the veggies, which are small in comparison to all the carbs on the plate, I I would just keep eating it, and I'll eat the whole plate. I'm like, I'll look around, and I'm like the only one who finished their plate, and everyone else is taking everything home in to-go containers, because this is one of the problems I have. I mindlessly eat, and if there's food in front of me, I eat it. So when we first started going, when the boy was the toddler, I would split a meal with him, and that helped. So he would eat the noodles and the rice, and I would focus on the protein, and, you know, I would try to get him to eat some of the vegetables, and so we had this, like, one plate between us, but I would give him the plate instead of me. I don't know if this makes sense. Like, I would tell the chef to give him the food, and then I would just take what I wanted off of it, so it wasn't literally in front of me, and that made a huge difference. Like, why, I don't know, but that does make a huge difference. Now, he warrants his own meal there. He warrants his own kid's meal, and he eats a lot of it. Now I order sushi instead of getting like the hibachi style, and I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. I get a couple rolls, I do a veggie, I do a tuna. It's controlled portion, and then I get to kind of just pick off their plates, and I know I'm satisfied with the picking. Do you know what I mean? So that helps me. So this is just one example of where I had to learn to navigate that place, because we do eat there a lot. For the fast food places, I have go-tos. Every fast food place, I have a go-to meal. It's usually a salad. I used to eat the grilled chickens a lot, but I've kind of gravitated, and a lot of the fast food chains have upped their salads. So like Chick-fil-A, it's the Southwest grilled salad with the honey mustard dressing. I love that. It's one of my favorites. At McDonald's, it's their Southwest grilled salad. Or right now, they have the Asian salad. I'm so excited. So I get that. At Burger King, I'm not a big fan of their salad, so I usually get the grilled, whatever their grilled chicken is, and it comes with honey mustard, so that's awesome. But I have go-tos. Like, I can actually list for you everything I get at these restaurants. And sometimes if they want to go to something like Five Guys, then I just have a small portion I can, and I up the vegetable content, and we share fries. So it really has to come down to what you have to set your own priorities, and you have to learn to navigate your environment. And I have lots of posts about this. I can probably dig some up, but you are still in control, even though you have to battle your husband. And don't make it a battle. Don't make it a this or that. Make it a compromise. So like yesterday, actually, the husband's like, let's order pizza this week. And I'm like, do we have to really order? Can I make pizza? And he was like, oh, okay. So, I mean, here's where he really wanted something, and I kind of let my intention be known, and we compromised. If he kind of really wanted to order the pizza, then I'd order a thin crust with lots of veggies for myself. So, again, I have a go-to. So, my suggestions for navigating a not-so-supportive healthy eating environment would be to really, and this sounds funny, but study what your options are at the places in which your spouse or significant others want to go, and have go-to items. Try to compromise, and don't let your desires be known, and don't lose sight of what your goals are. Because at the end of the day, you're the one. You really are in control, but don't make it a battle. Do you know what I mean? It's not worth it battling over what you're going to have for dinner. Try to approach it in okay, what can we do today, guys, where it will make everyone happy. Do you know what I mean? I'm kind of a people pleaser in that sense. So, Jody, I hope that helps. You stuck in 2 questions this week. I should have spread the love a little bit more. I feel bad. Am I shaking? Because I'm rocking him. All right, sorry. All right, next question. Okay, next question is from Debbie. And Debbie says, hi, Ronnie. I know that cow's milk is not your go-to milk, and I was wondering how you make sure that you get enough calcium in your diet. Weight Watcher recommends 2 servings, 3 if you are nursing, which I am. I'm currently nursing my 8-month-old son, Evan, coincidence, and find it very difficult to get in all that calcium. I'm super excited to hear about and see pictures of your new little guy. Thanks for all that you do, Debbie. Well, you got to see him. He's right here. I'm not going to disturb him because he's sleeping. But Debbie, I love this question. And again, I'm not a dietitian. I'm trying to actually have a page up I wanted to read to you. I'm not an expert in nutrition by any means. I just kind of use a lot of, really instinct in a way. It's really strange. I can't find it now. Oh well, sorry. I'm like distracted. So I am not a big cow's milk person. And you know what? It's funny because I finally took a stand on it. It's kind of weird. We have cow's milk in the fridge. I'm not one of those crazy anti-cow's milk people. People have been living off milk for centuries. I don't even know how long. I don't think it's killing us or anything like that. But I also, in my soul, I don't know how else to say it, I think it's odd that we drink cow's milk. I'm just going to say it. Even when I was little, I remember thinking it was weird. I'm like, it's made for baby cows. It's not made for us. Doesn't anyone find that weird? I remember thinking, doesn't anyone find this weird? Especially in a culture where we look kind of weirdly on breastfeeding, but yet we so freely drink cow's milk. I don't know. Is that not strange? Like, again, I'm not a big activist, but I find it really odd that no one thinks that that's odd. So that being said, I was never really a big milk drinker before. I mean, I use it on my cereal. I'll have a glass with some Oreos, but it wasn't like I was chugging milk just to drink it. And then after I had the first little guy, I wasn't too keen on giving him lots of cow's milk. I just didn't think it was, I don't know, I don't think it's natural. So I started looking at soy, and we started with chocolate soy, which both of us fell in love with. It's chocolate. How can you not fall in love with it? And then we gravitated towards vanilla soy and then regular soy. And then I read a lot about soy, and I wasn't too keen on the soy stuff either, because then I'm like, there's the whole estrogen thing, and too much of it is not a good thing, and it messes with people's systems. So then I was like, let's try this almond milk. I'm like, what could be wrong with almond milk? It's just pulverized almonds run through like a filter. This can't be bad. So I tried chocolate almond milk, and I fell head over heels in love with it. The flavor is just unbelievable. So again, I did my little thing. I weaned myself from the chocolate. I still buy the chocolate. There's some in my fridge right now. But I went from the chocolate to the vanilla to the regular to the unsweetened. And now, more times than not, the little guy and I have our morning cereal with unsweetened almond milk. It's 40 calories a serving. It actually has as much calcium as skim milk. So in that sense, I'm not losing the calcium gain by having almond milk. And I really fell in love with the flavor, and I like that there's a lot of options with it. I like that I can make it myself if I feel up to it. I have a couple experiments that I did on Green Light Bites I'll link to. And I like that my 5-year-old thinks it's just milk. And I don't know, that's really cool. When we run out, we use the cow's milk. And, I don't think it's a big deal. I'm just a big believer of everything in moderation. So back to your question, I'm not overly concerned with my calcium intake. I mean, maybe I should be, but, I probably have 1 to 2 servings of the almond milk a day between the cereal and then, maybe a snack where we have a little bit of the chocolate almond milk to drink or something like that. I like cheese, but I also found that there's calcium sources in foods that you eat. I'm pretty sure, and again, don't quote me because I'm not a dietitian, but broccoli, I think, is a pretty good source of calcium. I'm pretty sure black beans have calcium. I think oranges have calcium. So I try not to, this sounds funny because I'm a food journaler, but I try not to micromanage my diet to the point where I'm overly concerned about one nutrition or the next unless I see a problem. So unless my doctor tells me, you know what, you're showing signs of pre-osteoporosis, you really need to up that calcium. Then I'll up the calcium. But for my own sanity, I just try to eat a variety of healthy foods. I try to take my multivitamin once a day. I actually am also now taking the fish oil, and I take vitamin D because that was something that I think my last blood test said I was low with vitamin D. So again, because someone pointed out that there might be it. But I take a multivitamin pretty much. Most days, I tend to forget about it. Or sometimes I just take the kids' vitamins because I want a snack and I want the gummy, chewy candy like bite after dinner. But I try not to micromanage nutrients like that. And in my opinion, or in my hope, is that by eating a variety of foods, mostly whole, trying to eat as least processed stuff as possible, that I will get my calcium in that I need. Maybe that's a laissez-faire approach, but it works for me, and I'm not going nutty about, which nutrients I'm lacking. Sorry, the husband's walking around. I don't know what he's doing over there. So I don't really, like I said, I don't I don't get nutty about it. I don't know if that helps. But I'll link to a page underneath the video that I found that has lots of food sources that have natural calcium in it, just to give you an idea that there are other options out there. I feel like sometimes, in this case, the marketing of milk, you know, the whole got milk thing, has us all trained to think that milk is the only source of calcium. And there are a lot of other sources of calcium in our diet. So again, in my opinion, if you eat a variety of foods, you know, again, I'm not a dietitian, so I'm going to shut up because I don't really know. This is just the way that I approach it. I'm going to move on. Okay, next question is from Allison, and it's a little long. And if I remember correctly, I'm going to try my hardest not to tear up with this one. Okay, so from Allison. Allison says, Roni, I've pretty much hit rock bottom when it comes to losing weight and feeling good about myself. I can feel the depression starting to win, and I don't want it to again. I joined Weight Watchers about 6 weeks ago. She wrote this last July, so I'm really late in answering Allison. But I have lost 2 to 3 pounds in that time. I started working out until I hurt my foot and haven't been able to in 3 weeks. But when it comes to food, I have no willpower. I will do really well all day, and then I come home and pull everything out of the cupboards I can, and I will eat it. Then I don't track it because I feel horrible about what I've done. It seems that when most people start Weight Watchers, they do really good, but I can't seem to. This is my 5th time joining, so you'd think I'd get it together by now. I do want to lose the weight. I want to be a healthier me. If my husband and I decide to try to have children in the next year, I want to be able to have the energy for that baby. But most of all, I want my thighs not to rub together. And she has a little smiley face. I don't look that overweight, but the number on the scale says that I am. How do you do it? How did it just click for you? How do you stop feeling sorry for yourself and stop working against yourself to just do it? Were there any books that you read, TV shows that you saw? I need something, but I don't know what that something is. I read your blog every day, and you are an inspiration to those of us that are trying to pull it together. I need my life back. Okay, Allison. I could have totally wrote that email 6-7 years ago. I mean, really, I was in that cycle where, you know, you get this gung-ho feeling every day and you're going to do really great, and then something happens. For some reason, at the end of the day, you lose all your willpower. And I just actually blogged about this because it is something I still struggle with, where you just binge eat at the end of the day, and you just eat and eat and eat, and like my mind actually runs through like, what can I eat next, or what do I have that I can sit down on the couch and watch and just like shove in my face. And I think one of the big steps is to find out why you're doing that. Like, so for me, look, I am getting teary just thinking about this because I guess I really, really relate to Allison. For me right now, I know it's because I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I have a 2.5-month-old. He needs to nurse in the middle of the night. I'm waking up. I have a lot of broken sleep. Yet I want to accomplish a lot of things, and I want to do stuff, and I want to spend time with my husband, and I want to enjoy a TV show at the end of the day. Like, is that so much to ask? Can you tell this is emotional for me? And so at the end of the day, I am physically exhausted. I can feel it. Like, my eyes are heavy, right? And I think even unconsciously, I'm not consciously saying, oh, I'll eat, that will help me stay awake. It's almost unconscious. Like, if I have a bag of chips next to me and I'm eating them, I can't be sleeping. And I really think my body is just like looking for some quick carbs to give me that energy so I can stay awake. So that's one reason. And you might want to look to see if how tired you are at the end of the day, because it might be leading to the fact that you're munching. But beyond the tired thing, I think sometimes, I mean, there's emotional reasons why we're doing it. There's feeling, like you said, depression and feeling sorry for yourself, which I definitely go through that gamut as well. It's so hard for me to say what that one thing was that made it click. For me, it was a combination of things. It was, I just had a baby, so I'm on the other side of the coin than you are. You possibly are trying to get pregnant. It didn't click for me until after I had kids. Not that I think you have to wait to have kids, but that led to my light bulb moment, I think. Having an experience where, you have a child and you nurse it and you start to look at your body a different way. And I think having a baby I'm trying not to cry. Having a baby really helped me, see my body in a different way. I'm going to move off that subject for a minute so I don't cry. But, beyond that, I started to really take things by the horns, so to speak. So, like you say, you started Weight Watchers 5 times. You would think you'd get it by now. So first of all, don't beat yourself up about that. I mean, literally millions of people start diets every day and don't make it past the first 24 hours. It's quite normal. You're not a failure. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just this thing that happens to us, and we're not really quite sure why. One of the things that helped for me was to literally take the bull by the horns and own it. Just really say, okay, I am doing this. But don't do it half-heartedly, and you need something in place that's going to keep you accountable. So for me, it was the combination of committing to the meetings. Like, again, I was a Weight Watchers girl, but I think you can commit to whatever you got. I don't want to make the correlation that I think you have to join Weight Watchers to do this. I think these were the things that helped me, and you can kind of hopefully take my experience and turn it into what it is that you need. Do you know what I mean? So for me, it was committing to the meeting. I said to myself, I don't care if I think I gained, if I think I lost. I don't care if I totally ignore points all week. I don't care if I was on plan or off plan. I am going to go to this one meeting every week. And when I get home, this was the key for me, I'm going to blog about it. No one was reading my blog back then, but I was like, I am going to face the feelings, and I don't care, gain or loss, stay the same, whatever. It's not something that I'm going to just sweep under the carpet. It's not something that I'm going to ignore or let myself ignore, because I think a lot of times I would start these half-hearted diet attempts, and then when things didn't go my way, or if I wanted to go have a beer with my friends, or have mozzarella sticks as an appetizer or whatever it might be, then I went, oh, I'll just sweep it under the carpet. But the time that it clicked for me was, you know what, I want mozzarella sticks. I'm going to have them, I'm going to journal them, and I'm going to deal with it, and then I'm going to just eat less dinner, or I'll skip that beer, or I'll account for it in some way. I forced myself to be conscious and not shut it off. Where I think before I would just shut it off, it would get too hard, or I didn't want to face the scale, and I was, screw it, I don't care anymore. I'm fine the way I am. It's fine. But I wasn't really happy with the way I was, so it wasn't fine. So I think for me, it was literally pulling things, looking at myself hard, pulling things out of myself and facing it and being accountable. That was huge. And I think having the baby helped me start to look at my body a little bit differently, which helped me do those things. But like you said, you come home and then you eat everything in sight, and then you don't journal it because you feel guilty. Journal it. Force yourself to journal it. Face it. And I think the more you face it, maybe your first step isn't to stop it. And this is another thing. I think people have to take baby steps. Maybe your first step isn't to stop necessarily, but to face it, to write it down, to look at it. You know what I mean? And commit to doing that no matter what it is that you eat. For a week. Do it. And then the next week say, I'm going to try to eat a little less than I did that week. You know what I mean? Just that little, but force yourself to be accountable to it. And don't just, sweep it under the carpet like it didn't happen. It did happen. And there's nothing wrong with it. You're not a bad person because you ate a couple cupcakes. You're not a horrible dieter. You're worthy. You're worthy. Like that. And I have this old post. I just reminded myself, I promised somebody I would email this to them. I have this old post where that was like an epiphany for me that helped me, post-fact, kind of psychoanalyze what I was going through back then. So I'm going to link to that under the video, and hopefully it will help. But Allison, you're not alone. First of all, know that you're not alone. And I think doing this blog is one of the things that helped me realize I wasn't alone, which helped me also kind of continue on this journey. So I hope that helps a little bit. And I totally understand where you're coming from. I want to just give you a big hug, but I can't because I'm on your computer screen. All right, I'm going to go. He finally fell asleep. It took the whole time to get him to, he's out cold. And I'll show you really fast before I leave. There he is. I can actually hear him breathing. So again, please excuse my nursing attire on these hot days. I'm glad to be back doing podcasts. I hope you guys I don't know, I have a fear that no one's going to watch it because it's been too long or something. Like I lost all my viewers, but we'll see. I hope to get this up later today. And I will be back next week. I'm shooting for Thursdays again as video podcast day here on Roni's Way. So, all right. Thanks for watching, guys. I will talk to you soon. Bye.